This meeting is being recorded.
You may begin.
Good afternoon, all. I call this meeting to order at 3:04 p.m., April 20th, 2022.
If the commissioners could please turn on their videos, that would be great.
Please mute your microphones and stand for the flag, the Pledge of Allegiance. Do I get to pick someone, or can I go ahead and recite?
You can start it.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. City Clerk, do we have any changes to the agenda?
Before we don't, but if I could please call the roll. If you just indicate here when I call your name. Chair Morphin.
Here.
Commissioner Brown.
Here.
Commissioner Dare.
Here.
Commissioner Perez.
Here.
And I see Commissioner or Vice Chair Franz just joined us.
Yes, hi, sorry for the delay.
No worries, we're just calling the roll, so if you could indicate you're here.
Yep, Vice Chair Franz here.
Thank you. And I would like to introduce Yoni Parker. She's the new Deputy City Clerk sitting just over my shoulder here. So she'll be with us today. Commissioner Stossel is absent. And there are no changes to the agenda. So it would be appropriate to ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
I second motion.
Motion by Commissioner Dare, seconded by Commissioner Brown to approve the agenda. I'll call the roll. Chair Morphin.
Yes.
Vice Chair Franz.
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Dare.
Yes.
Commissioner Perez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now we will take public comments from members of the audience. If you would like to provide a public comment through Zoom, please click the raise hand button.
I'll give it a moment for any raised hands. We don't have any raised hands. We just received one raised hand. I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and allow Ms. Mario to speak. 1 second. Mario, if you please unmute your mic and ask your question.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I actually didn't have a question. Wasn't necessarily sure if I was supposed to provide a public comment after Manny presented. Should I hold off until after Manny's presentation?
Yeah, let's wait till he does his item, and then we'll raise your hand again for that one.
Certainly, thank you.
So that's item number 2 you're looking at, the update from Public Works?
Yes, absolutely. I think
Okay.
I jumped the gun. I apologize.
No worries, thank you. With that,
To follow along,
I'm sorry?
Sorry. To follow along, then we'll go to the presentations.
Item number 1 is a presentation, City Hall lighting retrofit and electrification transportation update. And Public Utilities Assistant General Manager Dusenberry will present the item.
Thank you. Good afternoon, members of the Vernon Green Commission. My name is Todd Dusenberry. I'm the Assistant General Manager for Vernon Public Utilities. I'm here today to present on two items: energy efficient lighting that was recently installed at City Hall and BPU's electrification transportation plan. Hopefully you've received the presentations in your packet. If not, please let us know and we can email them to you after the meeting. Dominic, do you want to bring up the presentation? Thank you. If you've been to City Hall recently, you may have noticed that we've replaced all of the lighting. We've upgraded the traditional fluorescent lighting with new, brighter, more efficient, aesthetically pleasing LED lights. LED lighting offers efficiency, reduces cost, and decreases overall energy use. It improves the environmental performance here at city facilities. Services include replacing interior and exterior lighting with new LED fixtures and sensors. We've added sensors to the conference rooms and offices to detect whether the conference rooms and offices are occupied. And if unoccupied, the lights will automatically turn off. Next slide, Dominic. To explain a little bit about this slide, the project cost was roughly $275,000, but saves the city close to $100,000 in energy costs each year. This means the payback on the project is less than 3 years. The lighting upgrade reduces our greenhouse gas emissions by 455 tons. To give that figure some context, this is about the same amount that 90 vehicles would produce if driven for 1 year, or the energy use of 50 homes over the course of 1 year. Next slide, Dominic. And here are some before and after examples of the lighting retrofit. On the left was our traditional switch plate, which has been changed to a sensor, which you can see on the right. And below, you see our historical fluorescent lighting, which has been replaced by the brighter, more efficient LED lighting on the right. Next slide, Dominic. And here are some more examples of your traditional lighting on the left and the way that the City Hall facility looks now with new, more efficient lighting. So these examples really speak to the positive work that was done here at City Hall to make Vernon greener and more sustainable. BPU has also recently replaced the lighting at the power plant, electric distribution substations, and its gas and facilities warehouse. We do offer free comprehensive energy audits to all electric utility customers. The energy audit is a good starting point for customers interested in developing a broader energy management strategy. Customers receive detailed analysis of their energy usage, followed by suggestions for improved energy efficient efforts, which can lead to measurable energy and cost savings. Also noteworthy is BPU provides rebates of 7.5 cents per kilowatt hour of reduced lighting energy usage. The maximum incentive for lighting improvements by qualified customers is $75,000 or 50% of the lighting retrofit cost, whichever is less. The maximum rebate per customer for all measures under this portion of the program will be the lesser of $75,000 or 50% of the investment. And that includes materials, labor, and taxes. If you're interested in learning more, please contact our customer service team here at City Hall. Okay, before I move on to the next presentation, just want to take a moment to answer any questions if the commission might have any questions. Okay, so if there are no more questions on the LED lighting upgrade, we'll move on to the next presentation. Thank you, Dominic. So VPU recently developed an electrification strategic plan that outlines the areas that VPU will focus on in helping to advance electrification adoption, while taking into consideration Vernon's unique customer base. Next slide, Dominic. So specifically, the plan outlines the development of an incentive program for residential customers for the purchase or lease of a new or used electric vehicle. and a separate incentive for the installation of a level 2 charger at the place of residence. You should have received a flyer as part of your agenda packet. But again, if you don't have any of these materials, we're happy to send them to you after the meeting. Given that the majority of Vernon's housing is city-owned and a portion consists of multi-tenant housing, VPU has made efforts to install EV chargers for public access at city-owned properties at no cost to the driver. A total of 23 level 2 chargers were recently installed at Vernon City Hall, many of which are on the second floor parking deck. If you come here to visit City Hall, they're available to the public. VPU has plans to add more chargers here and at future locations in the future. Next slide, please, Dominic. So VPU is also working to partner with Tesla to explore the possibilities of installing DC fast chargers for public access. The fast chargers can provide approximately an 80% charge in anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. So much faster than the traditional level 2 chargers. Strategically, VPU plans to place public charging stations at key locations in the city that are easy to access and would help extend the range for EV commuters coming in and out of Los Angeles. This infrastructure will support EV drivers within the Vernon community and will be sited in areas that can help minimize traffic impacts as much as possible. Next slide, Dominic. Recognizing that Vernon's customer base is primarily commercial and industrial, a handful of customers have already invested in electric mid-size trucks. VPU's customer relations team will be working closely to support on-site EV charging at local businesses, pilot testing new technologies, and coordinating the co-branding of these electrification partnerships between the city and our businesses. VPU envisions a significant increase with on-site EV charging in the coming years as businesses will work toward meeting legislative requirements like Executive Order 79-20, which requires mid-size to large trucks to be zero emissions by 2045 where feasible. As a result of this anticipated increase in our charging, the VPU electric engineering team is assessing our transmission and distribution system to make sure it's properly sized for this growth. So hopefully, as you can see, there are a lot of great things on the horizon here at VPU, and I appreciate you letting us the time to present to you today, and happy to answer any questions you might have about either the lighting retrofit or EV adoption. All right, hearing none, that concludes
Thank you
our
for that, Tommy.
presentation.
Oh, I have a question. I have two
Okay,
questions.
yeah.
Hi, my first question on the City Hall lighting project, it looks like there's some, did the budget include strictly the lights and the sensors, or did it include any of the like drywall or whatever work had to be done on the ceilings to all the new lighting?
Got it, great question. So it was just to replace existing lighting and then replace the traditional switch plates with sensors. So no new lighting was installed here at City Hall, just replacements of the existing fluorescents.
Okay, thank you. And then my second question is on the potential partnership with Tesla for the fast charger. Is there, how far along are you in that project? Is it greenlit? Is it in the planning stage? And, what would be an approximate time frame?
It's in the planning stage, but we do feel very good about the prospects of moving forward. We'll be sited on customer property in Vernon at a location that we think is one of the corridors to the city. In what we would say is a very advantageous spot to not cause any issues to the current parking to those businesses, and not have too many impacts on traffic, but give the Vernon community a place to charge within the city. Aggressively, if things move forward quickly with Tesla, we see toward the end of the calendar year, but I think more reasonably, we would be looking at probably February or March of next year.
Okay. Very, very helpful information for our employees. So thank you very much for offering potentially that service.
Sure, and when we can get out more information, we certainly will.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Were there any other questions from the commission?
Yes, I have one question. Is there any plans to offer rebates for businesses to install their own electrical chargers?
Yes, absolutely. So we put the residential program out there first. But please feel free to call our customer service division here at City Hall. If you call City Hall, you can just dial extension 202 and they'd be more than happy to help. So we do have incentives to help with those projects.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, thank you for those questions. Are there any public comments?
I got a question, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Martin Perez. When we talk about the facilities getting these rebates or monies back, is there anything extra for the employees that drive in with these vehicles and they can plug into the company's resources to charge their cars for going back and forth to work?
Sure, understood, Mr. Perez. So what we'd like to do, currently is help companies by incentivizing some of that infrastructure so they can provide it for their employees, their customers, the people that go on site to those facilities, each day. So, we don't specifically work with the employees, but what we would try to do is make it easier for the business to provide that for their own employees. And in lieu of that, until that happens, what we've tried to do is provide some options here at City Hall for people to charge free of charge here at City Hall for the public when you're visiting City Hall, until more businesses and more residents can adopt the EVs.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. And for the businesses, we work on a case-by-case basis with each business.
Sounds good.
All right, I appreciate all the questions and thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you, Todd. We'll move on to agenda item number 2.
Item number 2 is update from Public Works on Urban Tree Summit, Clean California Local Grant, and city beautification efforts. Public Works Deputy Director Garcia will present the item.
Good afternoon, Chair and Commissioners. Very exciting presentation by Mr. Dusenberry, and clearly a change of times as we electrify our transportation systems. Today, I'm going to be presenting on what the City of Vernon Public Works Department is doing to make the City of Vernon both greener and cleaner. And I will be specifically speaking on 5 things: the urban tree canopy, California grant that we received for a park, street islands, railroad spurs, which of course we know that it's an issue in Vernon. We have probably the city with the largest concentration of railroad spurs, and an upcoming event on Saturday, May the 7th. So can you please start the presentation? We can go back to the first slide. One of our models in the Public Works Department is that general appearance of a city in the public right-of-way is a direct reflection of the health of a community and the professionalism of those in charge. No community ever failed without first accumulating trash in this order. And that's one of the things that we think about every single day at work. Next slide, please. Here's a transformation of one of our islands. During the previous drought that we had, everything on that island died. And we changed it over to a desert landscape, appropriate plants for our climate, and just so much easier, cleaner, easier to maintain, cleaner, and just appealing. And it shows what it can look like. And we have several islands in the city, and we will be addressing each one of them. And I'll present more detail on that down the presentation. Next slide, please. Here's an overview: Urban Tree Canopy Summit, California Grant, City Park, Street Islands, Railroad Spur Cleanup, and Saturday, May 7th, Spring Cleanup. And down on the picture on the left, you see the Bandini, what we call the Bandini triangle, and we transformed that triangle, we cleaned it up. And once again, less irrigation, climate appropriate landscape, and just a big win. Cleaner, and just the maintenance requirements so much less. As our crews were doing the work, the traffic would honk at our crews and say, hey, great job, guys. So it tells you that the public also likes it and appreciates it. Next slide. Urban tree canopy. At first, I was skeptical about this project. I didn't think that it was going to be too appropriate for Vernon. But basically, the project is a partnership with Loyola Marymount University Center for Urban Resiliency and Tree People to develop local tree canopy assessments and community prioritization reports in order to help mitigate and reduce extreme heat in our subregion. The 4 communities participating are Linwood, Paramount, Vernon, and Montebello. The work will span from fall 2020 to summer 2022, starting with Linwood and ending with Montebello. No cost to participating cities. And here's some of the key points of the benefits for having more trees. COVID kind of put a dent in some of the schedule, but overall, early in December, next slide, please. I received the presentation study, and it was pretty wide, covered a lot of areas, and I was very impressed with the presentation and the analytics that went into the recommendation. This is the existing condition in Vernon. 47% of the property in Vernon is not suitable for trees. 2% of it has trees, and 52% of it is possible to have healthy trees, the right tree in the right place. So our goal in Public Works is, and with engaging with the community, is to start to decrease that, increase that tree canopy 2%, 4%, 8%, 10, 12. And the significance is once you get to about 15, 20% tree canopy in what's available, it makes a significant difference. And Mario can speak to that later on if you have any more specific questions, as he is the expert. Next slide. Basically, it's about the right tree in the right place. And after the presentation that we had on 3/16/22, I met with our street department. I said, let's plant some trees. And I was quickly held back because it's not tree planting season. We have to wait until the fall. What we will be doing is preparing some stormwater tree basins that serve 2 purposes: help with stormwater, collects the water, and facilitates the growth of trees. So we will be doing those in preparation for the fall planting season. And fall 2022, plant some trees in the city. Next slide. Fruitland Park. The department, under the guidance of our director, Dan Wall, applied for a $1.6 million California grant in early January 2022. The design there was designed by one of our engineers, Andrew. And we applied in January. In March, we were notified that we were the winner, and we were very excited about that. So there's a timeline. May 2022, we have to get some agreements done. It's the LA Department of Water right-of-way that's circled in red on the lower left-hand side, right next to Leones Substation and the city housing on Fruitland Avenue. And around February 2024, construction will start. And by maybe August 2024, give or take a month, we may have the first park in the city of Vernon. And this may be a catalyst for utilizing other open areas that are like right away for transmission lines or railroad spurs that aren't used, and make it a better place for our community at large. Next slide. Here's some of the things on the street islands. Example, this is a street island on September 2020. Doesn't look like that anymore. So we have finished District, Bandini and Downey, 37th Street, Bandini, the Triangle, which we showed you a picture of that earlier. And now our crews are working on Bandini and Pennington. And this Friday, we have a strike team working on the Long Beach area, the Atlantic, Long Beach Freeway, Bandini area, and doing a major cleanup there. Next slide. Here's an example of the Bandini Triangle. Next slide. Before, and that's what it looked like after. Much cleaner, improved visibility, just overall big improvement. Next slide. Railroad spurs. We know that we have a lot of railroad spurs in Vernon, and our police department has done an outstanding job in working with the homeless population. And we cannot clean a railroad area without the support of our police department, because it's a danger to our staff. Since September 2021, a collaboration of our police department, City of Vernon Police Department, Union Pacific, and BNSF, we have cleaned up 21 railroad blight areas. The City of Vernon led the way. Our Public Works Department led the way, and we actually cleaned some of the UP area and BNSF railroad areas, and that created kind of like okay, they're really serious about this, so we need to jump on there. And we have received excellent support, but it is a tough battle. The Malberg business area, right there by south of Slauson, north of Randolph, we have cleaned up that area like 5 times. We clean it up, and 2 or 3 days later, the homeless encampment is back on. So it is a significant challenge for our crews. And, we got to keep working with them, because we do not want our people to get discouraged. And they're making a very positive effort in keeping the city of Vernon as clean as possible. Next slide. We had a community outreach event on September 18, 2021. We concentrated on Pacific from Vernon Avenue, I think down to Fruitland. And it was very successful. And there you have a picture of the volunteers. Went out there for 2 hours, and we just cleaned that street. It was on a Saturday morning. That whole week, our code enforcement officer went out there and talked to the business and property owners and said, hey, can you please chip in? And they did a fabulous job of cleaning the property. Excellent job, great community event. It was a lot of fun. Our PD was there supporting us, Public Works, and just great. All of the departments were represented. Our next spring cleanup is on Saturday, 5/7 from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And starting tomorrow, I believe you can see the social media drive in terms of the advertisement for this event. If you're able to, love for our commissioners to come out there and just help out with the cleaning. We have 2 potential sites, and as we get closer, and depending on the number of volunteers, that will determine where we're going to focus our efforts. Next slide. That basically is the end, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you for that, Manuel. Yeah, I had a question regarding you did mention that there's going to be no cost to the city in planting these trees.
Not necessarily in planting the trees. I mean, there is a cost of planting the trees, and we do have a service contract to get that done. There was no cost to the city for the analysis. The analysis is key, because unless you know where you can plant the trees, your chance of success is not good. You can plant a tree anywhere. It doesn't mean the tree's going to survive. And you can plant the wrong tree in the wrong place, and basically you're just wasting time, energy, and effort. And the study basically said, this is what you can do in Vernon. Here's the spots where it makes sense to plant trees. Don't plant trees here. They won't survive. And I was really surprised by the accuracy. So it gives Public Works a game plan that's going to be successful. This is how you go about it. This is where the right tree in the right place. Otherwise, you're wasting. Doesn't make any sense. And Mario can answer more specific questions in regards to the study.
Will there be a preemptive map distributed to show where these trees will be planted?
Yeah, so that was presented. We had a tree summit on March the 16th, and the study was presented. That information is available. If you reach out to a Public Works Department, we can provide you the analysis, the heat analysis before and after, and yeah, it's available.
Thank you. Any more questions from the commissioners? No questions. Any public comments?
For those on Zoom, please use the raise hand feature. I have one raised hand from Mario. I'm going to go ahead and allow him to speak.
Thank you, Deputy Director Garcia. You'll have to excuse my zeal to speak up earlier. I just so excited to have the opportunity and the privilege to speak before the commissioners here at for the Green Vernon Commission, and just thinking about the forward-thinking approach that the city has undertaken. Looking at the city's general plan, thinking about the bicycle master plan that exists, and some of the initiatives that were just mentioned. I think this is the right time and the right place And this is a unique undertaking considering, Vernon's history, but the future includes more trees. And the research and the extensive research that went into this process and this project has proven to be quite fruitful with the cities that we've worked with thus far. So we've worked with Linwood and Paramount in terms of finalizing the report. And both are cities that, we've worked with to secure grants to plant urban greening grants to plant residential street trees and to distribute fruit trees to residents. So the results, paid dividends almost immediately. So we know that this game plan, using the analytics and the data is really important in terms of not just knowing where to plant and where it's feasible, but actually securing the funding necessary to put these trees in the ground. And when Tree People's a part of a project and we have 50 years of experience and we've learned a lot of lessons in that time, Emmanuel mentioned it, right tree, right place is something that really means something to us. And so, whether it's studying what soil type it is or the microclimate or parkway size, we're going to ensure that, whatever project that we work on, we're going to, ensure that the right tree goes into the right place and is going to have the highest likelihood for survivability. We had a fantastic tree summit with, a lot of participation from residents and city staff. And one of the more important components that we're looking for from this particular phase of the project is the completion of the survey. And I'm going to share that survey link here. This survey allows us to get the really, develop the needs from the community. We can only get the needs from the community with the completed surveys, or else, and we're really looking to achieve at least 20 completed surveys, and we're nearly there. So we're doing a final push in the next couple of weeks to spread the message about the project and the success of the project work thus far, and what we'd like to do with Vernon in the future. And, we all know why trees are important, not just for the beautification of the community. Aesthetics are one thing, mental health benefits are another, but we're talking about carbon sequestration, the production of oxygen. So I love all of the things that I've heard thus far about the stormwater capture projects, the projects that relate to sustainability and linking that toward the success of, business in Vernon, but also the residents and the workers that, call Vernon home. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to present and speak to y'all. And, I'm definitely available for question on the subject.
In closing, I would just like to say that we're not experts on trees. So we went out and we got the tree people. Is there any more questions?
I believe Commissioner Brown had a question.
Yeah, I don't have a question, but I do want to say I commend the city of Vernon for this project, not from necessarily simply an aesthetic standpoint, since it's a business environment and not necessarily residential. But we have a number of employees who commute via bicycle or that take public transportation. And I think that between a park and a tree canopy, that will encourage more of our employees to use non-driving single car methods to get to work. We encourage our employees to eat outside for their lunch. And we found that when we put trees in our patio, it increased the usage substantially. So I'm a huge tree believer and supporter. And I just want to say thank you, Mr. Garcia, to you and your team for making this happen. And I'll connect offline with you for the cleanup project. I'd like to get information to be able to provide that to our employees to participate in some manner. So I appreciate that.
I believe there's one more question from Commissioner Franz.
I just had another. I just want to echo Commissioner Brown's statements. That just really good to see, and it's a great program, and glad it's being done. Good stuff.
Thank you for that.
Just
Yeah,
wanna
thank
say-
you for that presentation.
Yeah, I just want to say I really appreciate the positivity expressed. And if folks could take a moment out of your day and fill out this survey and share it with your colleagues, that would be incredibly helpful. So thank you.
Mario?
Yes.
I clicked on the link to the survey and it doesn't seem to be working. It says, sorry, the survey is not currently active.
Okay, I will get you, I will get Manuela another link to the survey. I apologize for that.
No worries, thank you.
And I also have some surveys via Word and PDF, so I can distribute those electronically in that fashion as well.
Great. I don't believe we have any more presentations on the agenda. We will now go to the consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are to be approved with one motion. Items may be removed from the consent calendar by any commissioner. Those items removed will be considered immediately after the consent calendar. Do any commissioners wish to pull the item from the consent calendar? I don't see any hands or. Okay. Are there any public comments for the consent calendar?
For those on Zoom, please use the raise hand feature at the bottom of the Zoom window if you'd like to make a comment. We have no
I don't
raised
see any
hands.
hands raised. Okay. May I have a motion for the consent calendar?
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
Commissioner Jarrett. Motions to approve the consent calendar. Do I have a second?
I'll
Second it.
Oh,
Motion by Commissioner Dare, seconded by Commissioner France to approve the consent calendar. I'll call the roll. Chair Morgan,
Yes.
Vice Chair France,
yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Dare,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We will now go to new business.
Item number 4 is Green Vernon Commission Work Plan and Budget for fiscal year 2022-2023. And Health and Environmental Control Director Adrian will present the item.
Afternoon, commissioners, and it's great to see all of you again. I can't believe it's April already. I also want to say thank you to Todd and Manny for their presentation and kind of give you an idea what the city is undertaking, and hopefully that will be something also that it can be extended to businesses in Vernon. So we are excited about what is happening, and we want to see, this momentum continue, and hopefully, we all get to do some great things in the city of Vernon and make it a tree city, Los Angeles. So that is the goal, to bring some more trees in Vernon. I think it will be very helpful for us to have that. So today, what I have is our budget and our work plan for the upcoming fiscal year. So staff is basically recommending that the commission adopt the proposed Green Vernon Commission work plan and also request the budget authorization for FY 2022 and 2023. Now, before I continue, did you guys get a copy of the what's in the attached in the agenda? Okay. So so we request an authorization for that, and then we want you to direct staff to submit the work plan and budget to City Council for review and approval. The reason why we're doing this is based on Vernon Municipal Code 2.44060. It does direct the Green Vernon Commission to prepare an annual work plan and request for budget authorization for review and approval by the city council. So with that said, the staff has drafted a proposed work plan and budget for fiscal year 2022-23 for your consideration. The work plan outlines the goals and focus of the commission for the upcoming year. The proposed budget identified grant funding available to the commission, as well as anticipated expenditure for commission-related activities. So if you look, if you can take a look at the work plan, as you saw by Todd's presentation and Manny's, you know, the last time Vernon had a sustainability action plan was in 2011. And I think my first time here, we have this meeting, I brought it up that, you know, not only we need to update that plan, we also need to have some actionable items in it that can actually track, bring back, and show what the city is doing and how it's working. So with that said, that work plan needs to be updated. We have a plan to send that on RFP to update a work plan, but because of COVID, we didn't do that. But we have budgeted it a year ago to have that work, you know, to get an RFP on it. So we are working to get the RFP out hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So that is already budgeted. So it's actually VPU was very gracious to add that to the last year budget. So we have that already. Just now that COVID is kind of subsiding, we're coming back to our regular job. We're working on getting the RFP out. So we can start working on updating our sustainability plan. The second one is we have applied for a car recycle grant for $20,000. That was the max we can get from car recycle because of the size of the city. And the goal is to use that grant if it's approved. I think we're gonna get it to kind of supplement our educational outreach to our businesses and our residents about the implementation of SB 1383. So we hope that that will come through quickly. We haven't heard anything back, but the last time we checked, Car Recycle was working on it. So as soon as we get that, that's what our plan is, to use that money for education and outreach. And then on top of that, we want to also revise our current solid waste franchise agreement that we have with the haulers to include the SB 1383 requirements. So that's also in the works. So once we get that, City Council will take a look, we'll go to council, so we can include the new requirement that is being required for trash and separating organic waste and our recyclables. And then, as many have already mentioned or through his presentation, we want to be able to promote programs to increase tree planting and park development in the city. And you saw that grant money that was required by Public Works to develop a public park in the city, which I personally am excited about. I thought that was something we can go to, or hopefully we to exercise. Some of us that don't want to get stuck in traffic when we're going home, maybe you have a place that you can go hang out and work out for a couple of minutes. I have traffic die down before you leave. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's an exciting project. And then the next one also to promote programs to increase tree sanitation and measures and city beautification project, which you already saw a presentation on. And then lastly, but not least, to continue hosting our annual electronic and universal waste recycling event. So I have actually an update on that when we get to our oral reports that we have an upcoming event on the e-waste that I will highly encourage. If you have any e-waste sitting around that needs to be get rid of, this opportunity is free of charge. And I can talk on there a little bit on our report. So that concludes my my report on the budget and the work plan. So I'll stop here and see if any of you have questions. Thank you.
Yes, are there any questions for staff? I don't see any hands raised. Are there any public comments?
There are no raised hands on Zoom.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the Green Vernon Commission work plan and budget?
Motion.
Commissioner Perez, motion. I second that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Perez, seconded by Chair Morfin, to adopt the proposed Green Vernon Commission work plan and request for budget authorization for fiscal year 2022-23, and direct staff to submit said work plan and budget to the City Council for review and approval. I'll call the roll. Chair Morfin?
Yes.
Vice Chair Franz?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Dare?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We will now go to oral reports.
Thank you, Commissioner Morfin again. And so we have a couple of items I want to report on. I don't know if you know you guys are busy, but if you kind of see in the news, but the governor actually last October signed AB 1276, which is a single-use foodware, accessories, and standard condiments ordinance, law in California. Basically what that means is right now, existing law is if you are a full-blown restaurant, you're not supposed to be handing out plastic silverware and condiments, but this law actually extended to all food facilities, including our food trucks, that if you do go to go food or you go to a restaurant, carry out, you need to request actually for the condiment or for the silverware or the plasticware in order to get it. They shouldn't just dump it in or give it to you just because. So, you're not gonna have 20 ketchups from In-N-Out anymore when you get home to save. So the law was signed in October by the governor, and what it did was it actually put the enforcement on locals like us to enforce that starting June 1st, 2022. So part of it, in order for us to be able to enforce it, is to create a city ordinance. So we did submit an ordinance to a city council that was yesterday for first reading. And then we're hoping for the second reading to be on May 3rd. And then with a 30-day period, hopefully will be effective June 3rd. So what we plan to do is, again, once it's approved, to educate our businesses, our restaurants, our food trucks. It's really more about education. What the law do allow, though, it is the first two infraction, or the first two violations is what is deemed as an infraction, and it's $25 fine and, per day, but not to exceed $300 a year. Again, our goal is not to go and fine businesses or restaurants. Our goal is to really educate them that this is a real thing. We want to make sure people don't want it, we don't give it to them, and they ask for it, we don't give them more than they need. So our goal here is really to educate, and then hopefully, because studies have shown that by actual restaurants doing that, it saves a lot of money. I think they still report as a tune of restaurants that have started doing that, saving between $3,000 to $25,000 for reducing those plastic straws and the stirrers and everything else that goes with it. So we want to educate. We want to let people know. We want to, if you're aware of it. Obviously, if we are not getting a compliance from a particular place, then we have the option of issuing a citation, which is an infraction of $25 per day that they don't listen to. And stopping that behavior. So I just want to bring that to our attention. It's in the works, and we hope that the second reading will be done in May 3rd, and we can start going out and educate and enforcing it come June 3rd. The second thing also I want to bring to attention, and Dominic, can you pull up the flyer?
Sure, which flyer?
Can you pull out the universal waste, please?
Give me one moment.
So why Dominic is pointing up, we have, I think, since I've been here, this is our 3rd year doing this event. I know prior they were doing also, but we really push it out. We want to make sure businesses are aware of this because this is a free service to you. That if you have any old electronics sitting out there, cables, things that you haven't been using, you can bring it up on May 12th at the fire station on Fruitland Avenue. And like I mentioned, it's a free service to you. They'll take it, bag it. We've been there helping them load this stuff up. I think last year when we did it, they brought like, I think it was about 3 trucks full. So I will highly recommend that, you share this with your folks. What we are also doing is we have sent out, I think we did send an email blast to about 500 email addresses, 900 email addresses that we have internally, pushing this out. Also, VPU, my understanding is tomorrow they're going to be sending this also out to all Vernon customers. So please just make a note of it. The only thing that they charge you for, if you bring fluorescent tubes, if you bring lamps or batteries, then there's a cost. And that cost is very minimal, to be honest with you. If you look down there, it's, they charge, I think for batteries, it's at $1.65 per pound. So these are things we really don't want to see, get into a landfill and worst case scenario, get into the ocean because it's a big pollutant that we don't want them to be out there. So please make a note of the date. And if you have anything, just swing by between 10 to 2 p.m. We'll be out there helping them collect this stuff. And like I said, it's free of charge to you. And I think it's a great service. So we hope to see you out there, or, send your driver or anybody, but, start looking around and see what electronics you have sitting around that you want to get rid of. I personally, I'll tell you, even a couple of years we've done it, I brought stuff from home that has been sitting there. Old computers, old cables, the old Cat 5 cables that we used to use that now nobody uses them, that's laying around. I brought all those and be able to take them. So I just want to put a plug in that this is coming on May 12th on Thursday. The next one, Dominic, just to, I think Manny already shared that information. I just want to put a flyer out there also. I know Commissioner Brown wants to reach out and get more information. So this is the event that is coming out that is being hosted on Saturday, May 7th. Like Manny mentioned, the last one they did that we attended was really nice. It was cool to able to walk the street and clean up and pick stuff out with the storm drain. And, it's a community event. This is something that brings us all together. So we encourage you again to share with, everyone. I think the flyer also, I believe, went out. All public was going to send it out. But the phone number over there, also you can text that number if you have questions. And I think somebody will get back to you or you get more information. So that concludes what I have on my oral report. And I will stop here and see if it's a comment or any question. Thank you so much for your time.
Chair Morphin, I just wanted to remind the commission, those of you that terms are expiring, please, if you'd like to continue your service, submit your application to rejoin the commission. I think I emailed everybody, but if you need it, it's on our website, or you can contact me and I'll get you the application.
I hope everyone stays because we have some exciting stuff coming up. So I want to see all that work. Please, you guys get the credit for it, for your leadership. So Let's apply from me.
Thank you for that, Freddie. Are there any more reports from commissioners or staff? Great. I think we could adjourn this meeting, correct, Lisa?
Yes.
Okay. Without any further business, I adjourn this meeting at 3:59 p.m.
Thank you.